The NFC's best team has passed another test on their way to regular season perfection.
And we have the latest on the crazy incidents involving Tiger Woods.
I'm Thomas Wilson.
And I'm Caleb Frady. This is Sports Source.
Welcome to the best sports show in town. This is Sports Source.
Well, it was a big Monday night game last night in the Big Easy between the Saints and the Patriots. New Orleans remains undefeated on the season. Sports Source Meredith Martin has the breakdown and the latest NFL news. Meredith.
Yes, thank you, Caleb. Let's head to the Superdome in New Orleans. Here we see Tom Brady and the New England Patriots about to take on Drew Brees and the undefeated New Orleans Saints. Up 7-3 and trying to keep the momentum going, Brady throws a short pass intended for Moss. That pass was intercepted by Mike Martinez, who returns it 8 yards. Start of the second quarter, Brees passes off to Pierre Thomas. Thomas runs it 18 yards and in for the touchdown, 10-7 Saints. Brees averaged 16.1 yards per passing attempt, a team record. First and 10 Saints from their own 20. Brees connects with DeVary Henderson for the touchdown. This was the Saints' longest touchdown pass this season at 75 yards. Extra point is good, putting the Saints up 17-7. Another big pass. Brees with a pump fake connects with Marquise Colston for his 5th touchdown pass of the game, putting the Saints up 38-17. This is the first time a team has thrown 5 touchdowns against a Bill Belichick team. Tom Brady talks to Coach Bill Belichick with just minutes left in the game. This was the second loss to an unbeaten team on the road after the Patriots fell to the Colts recently. Brady was intercepted twice, sacked once, and even pulled from the game in the 4th quarter. The Saints remain undefeated headed into next week's game against the Washington Redskins. Well, the Falcons were in action too this past Sunday. Let's take a look at their game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan was sidelined during the game against the Bucs with turf toe. Backup quarterback Chris Redmond takes over. Redmond finds Jarius Norwood midway through the second quarter. Norwood busts through the Bucs defense for 22 yards, scoring a touchdown that puts the Falcons up 10-7. In the third quarter, Falcons punter Michael Keenan's punt is blocked by Corey Lynch. On the next play, Bucs quarterback Josh Freeman connects with Cadillac Williams, resulting in a touchdown for the Bucs. 4th and goal, Chris Redmond makes a last attempt at a touchdown. A short pass to Roddy White results in a winning touchdown for the Falcons. This touchdown was challenged by the replay assistant, but the call stood and the Falcons win 20-17. Well, the Falcons will have to continue the rest of their season without several key players. Quarterback Matt Ryan's return is uncertain after a turf toe injury. Backup quarterback Chris Redmond is scheduled to play in this week's game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Running back Michael Turner is also out with a high ankle sprain. The Falcons also released longtime kicker Jason Elam after he missed 7 field goals this season. Long snapper Brian Pittman was also released. The team signed Matt Bryant and Joe Zelinka as replacements. They also just added former UGA quarterback DJ Shockley back to the practice team.
Looks like injuries and new players should make things interesting in the Falcons' upcoming game against the Eagles, Caleb Meredith.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big game. Michael Vick's first return back to the Georgia Dome without, Matt Ryan. Should be an electrifying atmosphere.
Definitely. You never know what's going to happen with Vick back in town and a lot of key players missing.
Now for our college football insider, Kelsey Kirksley. How about them dogs this past weekend?
Yes, Thomas, it's great to be a Georgia Bulldog. This past weekend, the UGA Bulldogs met the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in Atlanta for what is always a very heated rivalry game. UGA took off with 2 early scores, and Georgia Tech could only match a field goal. In the second quarter came a huge interception from Rashad Jones. The Bulldogs' running game was on fire, mainly with Washaun Ely and Caleb King taking the ball down the field. The running game was great. Bulldogs have never seen so much action with their feet on the field. Here's Caleb King with a rush, and he ended the night with 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. In Georgia Tech's last drive of the game, 4th and 10, pass to Demarius Thomas, and he drops the ball with no one around. Can you believe it, guys? UGA rushed for a total of 339 yards to beat the number 7 Georgia Tech with a final score of 30-24. And it's that time of the season where college football programs make coaching changes. Famous coaches are leaving their programs, and I have to say that we all saw this one coming. Charlie Weis has been fired as the coach at Notre Dame. Weis was brought in from the NFL 5 years ago with the hopes that he would take the Notre Dame football team back to its old glory. Weis and the Fighting Irish went to 2 bowl games in his first 2 seasons, but since then the school has gone 16-21. Now, some names are being thrown around for his replacement, but Cincinnati's Brian Kelly looks to be the front runner. The Florida Gators and the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Crimson Tide are getting ready for the SEC Championship game this weekend. The 2 undefeated teams will meet this Saturday in Atlanta in one of the most anticipated college games this season. Now, on paper, it seems like Florida has a slight advantage, but the Gators played a few close games this season against underdogs like Mississippi State and South Carolina. Florida will also be playing without starting defensive end Carlos Dunlap, who was arrested early this morning for a DUI. Now, these teams really know a lot about each other, and they've spent time learning from the game they played last year. Here's head coaches Nick Saban and Urban Meyer talking about the other's team.
They're very good in every phase of the game. You know, they're very good on offense. They have balance. They can run the ball probably better than anybody that we played. You know, they have a great leader in Tebow who certainly directs and does things that he needs to do to help his team be effective.
There's monsters inside, you know, and then you got one of the best linebackers, high draft pick, and 2 good corners, and I could go on, and schematically they're good, so keep going, man.
Well, Kelsey, one of the coaching changes you mentioned we didn't get to talk about was Bobby Bowden retired after a very long tenure at Florida State today.
That's right. Bowden will be leaving Florida State after they play their bowl game this week, in a few weeks. Bowden was at Florida State for 34 years. He was a coach for 44 years and will retire as the 2nd winningest coach in college football, right behind Joe Paterno.
Now, Kelsey, we know that the SEC Championship game is this weekend, and you preview the Saban and Meyer with their teams. But we have the BCS standings that have just come out, and it looks like Texas might play the winner of both of those teams. What can you tell us about that?
That's right. Well, a lot of people are saying they think it's going to be Texas and Alabama in the national championship. I'd like to see that game.
I think it'll be pretty good.
In terms of bowl games, where do you see Georgia's bowl fate, and where do you see their destination ending up?
I think we're headed to Nashville, to the Gaylord Hotel's Music Bowl. I think that's where we'll be on December 27th.